Remember to go check out Patreon. We will not be doing a straw poll again. I tried it to appease my oldest son. He thought it'd be a really good idea and so much easier. He tried. I'm not too hard on him. He thought it would be easier. So we will do what we did the first time, which is go down in the comments and upvote my comment of the choice that you guys would like to see next Tuesday. And the choices are Steve Pichenik, Utah Sasquatch, and George W. Bush on 9/11. We are doing Susan Atkins. For those that don't know, she is one of the Manson family members who was involved in the murder of Sharon Tate and a few other of her guests. Let's get started.
Well, I remember getting in the car with Tex.
Now, as you see, she's having a hard time at this moment keeping eye contact with the interviewer. And she's looking up a lot and with her head as well, so she's remembering visually what it is.
And
Tex
Watson and my other two co-defendants, three co-defendants actually. And before...
And her looking down when he mentions Tex Watson, I just remembered him always just as Tex. No, I was not alive when this happened. But it was definitely the biggest story because back then, Manson would make the news. They loved to interview him. But anyways, her looking down, it's more of an emotional thing we're seeing. And I don't know what the emotional issue is here. But it seems to be on the... you can't look at the interviewer and you're ashamed in whatever you've done with this individual. And we can say and assume that it's the murder, but from this, just what we get right here, there's something going on where there is shame.
I ever got in the car, Tex and I had our own special little stash of cocaine. I think it was cocaine or methadone, I'm not sure which.
I don't like it when people do this. And if you hadn't noticed, we got in the car, how her head went.
Before I ever got in the car, Tex and I...
She leaned into that Tex.
I had our own special little...
And then she leans completely in and her head kind of down in it. Like it was a secret is what she's saying. You're on national TV and you're telling a secret like it's like a special secret of cocaine.
Stash of cocaine. I think it was cocaine or methadone, I'm not sure which. We were speeding. We both snorted some speed and got in the car. We were very, very wired.
Going back to when there was a shame, as he mentioned, Tex, it would assume now, as we look at it, that they had a very special kind of relationship. And so what she's doing is kind of a betrayal. And this goes into what I've said, especially, I believe I said it in the Q&A or the Obamas, that watching this is like putting a sentence together. Body language is literally a language you're putting the sentence together.
And we drove to the house with instructions to kill everyone in the house.
From Charlie?
Yeah. And not just that, but that we were instructed to go all the way down every house, hit every house on the
street?
On the street, yes.
And kill all the people in those houses?
And you see she can't look at the interviewer, kill all the people. We're instructed to go down, and she's already losing eye contact with him on those orders. She doesn't want to look. She even turns her head away from it. So 7 years later, after parole, we're actually seeing signs, real signs of shame for the act.
In all those houses. And we went into the house, and I remember that as we went in, a car came up.
Now that I didn't like.
I remember that.
I don't like that for the sense of it's drama that is not needed. So now we're not only getting a sense of shame for what she's going to do to Tex in this, we're now getting a little bit of drama. And I see this and its portrayal, acting, and we're putting this sentence together. And this is what it's like to put a sentence together with someone who is extremely manipulative. And it's one of the biggest reasons why it irritates me so bad.
And a car came up to the driveway, and I remember Tex getting out, and without saying anything, there were gunfire shot. I was in the bushes, and
That's when the young boy, Stephen Parent, was
right,
killed.
was killed
In the
right.
car, outside.
Right. The people in the house were all brought into the living room and tied up, and
Now she's telling this story, and she's being honest. So what she's saying is truth. Just an FYI, when manipulators do this to you and the story comes out as slowly as we're starting to see, I know I've gotten complaints of, do it on the manipulators. We want to know how they manipulate us. Well, I'm trying to show you, and it's a long process. It's not as short as, oh, he's being deceptive. And that is why I like it so much better when somebody believes their BS and they're just lying on their BS than someone who is manipulating, because you literally have to watch it and catch it as it goes. You have to put the whole thing together. So when someone is manipulative to you, and a lot of you I'm sure have encountered this in life, you won't figure it out until after the fact. Or at least halfway into it, be like, something is not right with that person, and I don't know what it is. And this is how they do it. You're welcome.
I remember that Wojtek Wachowski, I believe is his name, I had tied his hands with a towel, and then
I tied his hands with a towel. So she's got the portrayal now into this, I don't really remember what I did. I think I tied his hands up with a towel. Oh, you know what you did. Something that brutal and that traumatic, even in a killer's life or the victim's life. It's a moment in your life you will never forget. You know what you tied him up with. Towel. The head goes down, chin in like a sway moment upwards. Towel. And now we're getting manipulated. This is right after the parole hearing, by the way, if I hadn't already said that. Towel? This is usually where I tell you guys I don't want to go any further because it's irritating me. But we're going to continue.
I was instructed to kill him. And I raised the knife that I had in my hand, and I couldn't put the knife down.
Now, she can look him in the eye for this. I raised the knife that I had in my hand, but I couldn't put it down. Now, in the beginning of the video, when we started, and she couldn't look at him for the word kill, there really was shame there. She did not like admitting that. Now, we gave her more, oh, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. She feels shame now. And she does. She really does. Regret, I guess, would be the most appropriate word for what she's really feeling is regret. And by the way, this individual right here who is manipulating us, this is a weak-minded individual. Liars know how to lie because they get lied to and they know what works on them. So they use what works on them to lie to other people. Manipulators manipulate because they've been manipulated and they know what works on them, so they manipulate you. It's all a training process, all of it. Let's continue.
I couldn't bring it down. It was just as though there was a force there that held my wrist, and I couldn't move. And as he saw that I couldn't move, then he very easily undid the ties, the towel that I had tied his wrist with, and he and I began to fight. And I remember I was screaming for help, and he was screaming for help, and then Tex came, and
Now I'm glad that he finally found out. We can see that her body is in agreement with her, which is why these manipulators, when they're talking to you and they're manipulating to you, you will fall into their trap because they're telling you the truth. You know, a lot of people complain about Alex Jones. Oh, he's a fear monger and he does this. This is how I explain to my kids about Alex Jones, because every time he comes on, they complain. Mom, why are you listening to him again? You know he's just going to exaggerate or fearmonger or whatever, because they don't like listening to him either. Because I've pointed out to them what I see Alex Jones doing. And this is what he does. A normal person, hey, comes to your house. Hey, the barn's on fire. We need to go put it out. Okay, you go get your stuff. Because, the barn is just on fire, nothing else. This person is portraying that I just need to put my shoes on, grab a coat, and get prepared with a smoke mask and everything else. Alex Jones does this. Oh my God, the barn's on fire. We're all going to die. He did not lie in any of that. It was just the way he delivered what he was going to say. I don't know how I got off on an Alex Jones kick. I don't even remember the train of thought I was going on. Hold on, I'm pausing to go figure out what the hell I was talking about. All right, now I've got my brain cells back. The manipulator. He just manipulated everyone into thinking that the entire world needs to come out to save the barn because we're all going to die. This is the kind of manipulation. He's giving you truth, but he's exaggerating or putting emphasis in an area that really doesn't need to be emphasized. She's giving us truth, but she's taking away emphasis or adding emphasis to give her more sympathy and more empathy. Let's continue.
And it helped me. And I was left to sit and watch Sharon Tate. And about that time, all I can remember seeing people just scattering in different places and running in different places. And I was left sitting with Sharon Tate. And she was talking to me.
And then she shrugs it off. She's talking to me, and that shrugging off the conversation with Sharon Tate.
I remember that I felt nothing. I felt absolutely nothing for her as she begged for her life.
And now we're into the shame mode. And a lot of people will sit there and go, oh, she doesn't mean it. Yeah, they could mean shame. I mean, translate the shame into whatever you want it. She's shamed because she got caught. She's shamed because she's doing time. She's shamed because she did it. There's all kinds of things to be shameful for. Do I have empathy for her or sympathy for this individual? She's a weak-minded person that really should have been in a mental hospital. Now, either she learned it from Charlie Manson, or she learned it from her home life or school life. But she's learned this from somewhere.
For the life of her baby. And, Jesus. I remember when we first went in, one of the people said, who are you? And Tex said, I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's business. And I remember that in my conscience, it's so alive in me, even just recalling it. I remember that I had gone so far and there was no turning back. That even if I had wanted to run, even if I had wanted to leave, I couldn't. It was like I was caught in something that I had no control over. And
that's true. Her whole body is moving in that. And that goes with the manipulators and the weak-minded. The weak mind can be controlled. Now, she'll go on later, because I can't do this anymore. I hate looking at manipulators. Oh, it drives me absolutely insane. I hope that I have identified enough to make you guys happy. And not only just to make you happy, but I'm hoping that you're identifying enough to realize you're not going to catch a manipulator right off the bat. You're going to have to watch them. And as you get the sentences coming out, and as you get the paragraphs of the body language coming out, you'll put it together and go, they're manipulating me. And you'll be able to do it before they get away with something horrid, like steal all your money or make you do something that's immoral. You can get away from them. Hopefully before that happens. But you'll never catch a manipulator unless you have knowledge prior to them coming into your life. That's a manipulator. You need to avoid them. Okay, Other than that, if you don't know the person, you really are just going to have to watch, listen, and pay attention. Supposedly, she said she was a Christian, that she had found God, and she's going to be a good girl now. Well, I don't know about that. I'm sure she found God. Usually people, when they're down and destitute, you find God. It's if you still find him when you don't need anything that it actually means something. Okay, I think I've preached enough. If you liked it, leave a like. If you liked the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.